is also very well organized, because energy doesn't is not enough to play a team like Arsenal against 11 men. So that is a very good consideration. And on top of that, I see a lot of players that they are maturing in terms of football intelligence. I think James is one of the many examples. He's been playing as a midfielder, and before I was saying to Ian that I like him more on the right side, but I have to might change my mind, because the performance today was excellent from all the technical and tactical aspects. So
I think as well, Gianfranco, if they don't go down to 10 men, I think maybe we see Cole Palmer, and then the last 15, 20 minutes, that would have been a different thing, you know what I mean?
I agree.
So again, I think we kind of we dodged one there, and that's why I think the point is a very good point.
Even though, as Mikel Arteta was honest enough to say, when you're playing 10 men for, what, 55 minutes nearly, more than often you're expected to go into the game and make it count.
Yeah, but then once you do get the point, because I was of the impression that once it went down to 10 men, I was really quite confident, because I think, well, at least we definitely won't lose from here. Then we concede a goal, and then the game turns. Then now you've got to go and try and find it, and in the end we did. And then after that, you're now happy with a point. You have to take it. You have to be happy.
I got to say that I was expecting more dominance of Arsenal when they went up to one man, because normally, you know, when a strong team like Arsenal that is already dominant 11 versus 11, when they go one man up, I was expecting them to have more control of the game, more control of the ball, and creating pressure on Chelsea, something that I didn't see. Actually, Chelsea looked like
physically, and they look very strong
in the situation, and few times they try to create problems, and they're very close to do that.
And on that, since the red card, they had seven efforts each. So they matched Arsenal even with a man less.
No, that is no doubt. This is a team, Chelsea, that is growing in stature, growing in confidence, growing in you know, determination, and they know that they can cause problems to anybody.
And for Arsenal, they've got to get used to weeks like this, haven't they? Because that's what they want. They want to be top of the Champions League, top of the Premier League.
Well, it's the problem we've had in the last few years is trying to take the last step. And games like this, at this stage of the season, is what you have to get something out of, preferably a win. You have to get something out of it so you can try and build the cushion. So when you get to the latter stages, if you do start to feel the pressure because you haven't done it before, then you've got the cushion of the wins, what you're building now. So that's why you need to build them now, and I think that's what Arsenal are doing, and they know it. You can see the disappointment in them because they've been so close on so many occasions. So I think that this season is one where they're getting everything together and just having a blast at it and making sure that they get it done this year.
And on that depth, let's remind everyone, only the second time in 162 Premier League games that Arsenal have played without Saliba and Gabriel. But it isn't serious, Saliba.
No.
It's just a knock in training.
And even that, Steve, remember we lost Saliba a couple of seasons ago, and it literally finished our season, and we lost him just before the game. And as much as the two guys, Mosquera and Nkappi, they've not played together, and you know, it was a good performance. Again, the 10 men would probably have helped that, but at the same time, to be able to bring them in at that late stage, with Saliba going out that late stage, and it doesn't affect us to the point where it's done in the past, is the progress that Arsenal have made up to this point, because we did not lose a game against a really vibrant Chelsea side.
OK, that's the Arsenal side of the story. Here's the Chelsea reaction with their manager, Enzo Maresca.
Ian Wright blasts Arsenal's derby performance against Chelsea. In a thrilling display of rivalry that has spanned generations, Arsenal faced Chelsea in a derby that left fans on the edge of their seats. However, amid the excitement, former Arsenal striker Ian Wright did not hold back in expressing his discontent with the Gunners' performance. The iconic footballer, who is revered for his contributions to the club, offered a candid assessment that resonated with many supporters. A game of high stakes. The intensity of a North London derby is unmatched, and this encounter was no different. As the teams lined up at the Emirates Stadium, the anticipation was palpable. Arsenal, top of the Premier League table, were expected to deliver a strong performance against a Chelsea side, eager to prove their mettle. However, as the match unfolded, it became evident that the Gunners were far from their best. The first half was particularly troubling for Arsenal. Errors were rampant in their defense, and Chelsea, despite being labeled the underdogs, took advantage of every opportunity presented to them. Ian Wright, watching from the sidelines, was visibly frustrated with the Gunners' lackluster display. His analysis would soon take center stage in post-match discussions. The controversial red card. At the 38-minute mark, the match took a pivotal turn when Chelsea's player received a red card, leaving the Blues with 10 men. While many might have expected Arsenal to capitalize on this potential advantage, Wright pointed out a critical flaw. The Gunners struggled to break down Chelsea's defense, even with a numerical superiority. "Let's be honest," Wright stated in his post-match commentary. "If it wasn't for that red card, Arsenal could have easily lost this game. Chelsea, with 10 men, were still difficult to break down. It was a troubling performance from Arsenal." This sentiment struck a chord with fans who had hoped for a clearer dominance over their rivals. Instead, what they witnessed was a team that appeared rattled and uncertain, lacking the fluidity and confidence that had brought them success earlier in the season. Errors and missed opportunities. Wright's analysis didn't just stop at the red card. He highlighted the plethora of errors that marred Arsenal's performance. Time and again, misplaced passes, poor decision-making, and a lack of urgency plagued the Gunners. In many ways, it looked as if they were a shadow of the team that had started the season with such promise. "Arsenal made a lot of mistakes," Wright lamented. "In a game like today, you cannot afford to give your opponent any advantage. Chelsea were clearly the better team, especially in the first half. The errors were self-inflicted, and that's what's most frustrating." While it's easy to brush off a single game as just a bump in the road, the concerns raised by Wright are reflective of deeper issues that have occasionally surfaced throughout the season. The challenge for Arsenal now lies in addressing these inconsistencies before they become detrimental to their title aspirations. A late savior in Mikel Merino. Just when it seemed like Arsenal might walk away empty-handed, a glimmer of hope emerged in the form of a late goal from Mikel Merino. The midfielder's strike salvaged a point for the Arsenal and prevented what would have been a disastrous defeat at home. But even with the goal, Wright was not entirely convinced. Yes, the late equalizer was crucial, he admitted, but it shouldn't have come to that. The fact that it took so long to score against a team that was down to 10 men is alarming. The undercurrent of Wright's analysis shows the complexity of emotions surrounding the match. On one hand, a point gained from a potentially disastrous defeat should be celebrated. On the other, the overall performance left much to be desired. Arsenal's current position. Despite the discontent regarding the performance, it is essential to recognize that Arsenal remains at the top of the Premier League table. This positioning is a testament to their earlier efforts and talent. The question looms, can they maintain this momentum? Wright acknowledged this silver lining, stating, "Arsenal are still at the top of the table, and that's important, but they must learn from matches like today. To compete at the highest level, consistency is key." This reminder serves as a call to action for both the players and the coaching staff. While they bask in the glory of their current top-tier status, the Gunners must not lose sight of the standards that have propelled them thus far. Looking ahead. Lessons to learn. As Arsenal fans digest Wright's frank appraisal of their performance, it's crucial to identify actionable takeaways moving forward. Key lessons include defensive solidity. The defense must tighten up and minimize errors. Consistent mistakes can cost valuable points in tightly contested matches. Creating chances. While Arsenal had control of the ball, they struggled to create meaningful chances against 10 men. Improving creativity and decision-making in the third final is essential. Game management. Learning to manage a game when ahead or facing a weaker opponent is key for sustained success. Arsenal's inability to exploit their advantage against 10 men reflects an area in need of growth. Mental fortitude. Maintaining composure in high-pressure matches is critical. Arsenal must work on their mental resilience to ensure they can withstand challenges from rivals. A call for change. Ian Wright's comments serve as a wake-up call for Arsenal. His passionate critique underscores the urgency for the team to recognize their weaknesses and address them before they become an Achilles heel. While securing a point from Chelsea was a minor victory, it's clear that the Gunners have challenges to overcome if they hope to stay at the top of the league this season. As Arsenal fans, players, and staff reflect on this derby, the lessons learned can serve as a foundation for improvement. The road ahead is demanding, but with commitment and adaptability, Arsenal can blend their raw talent with tactical discipline to reclaim their rightful place among England's elite. In the world of football, there's always room for growth, and under the watchful eye of Ian Wright, the hope for better performances remains ever present.